Present value of a single amount of money. One of the things that we can do with time value of money is calculate present values, or in other words, how much would a certain amount of money in the future be worth today if we could get it today. We call that discounting, bringing money backwards in time. An example would be, you might want to know if you were to receive $1 million 20 years from now, how much would that be worth today in terms of current spending power, for example. And you could actually bring that money backwards today and look at it and see how much it would be worth today. Here's a simple example of calculating the present value of a single amount of money. Let's say you're scheduled to receive $110 a year from now, and you believe that you could earn 10% on your investments, so you believe 10% is the correct interest rate to use in discounting or bringing money backwards. If you were to discount that $110 backwards at 10% interest and figure out how much it's worth today, the equivalent amount today would be $100. Or in other words, if you had the $100 today, you feel that that's the equivalent of waiting a year and getting 110. What complicates this is multiple periods of time when we're doing the compounding. So one of the things that we've got at our disposal is an algebraic expression that can help us figure out the present value of a single amount of money regardless of how many time periods are involved. The algebraic expression here is that the present value is equal to the future value divided by 1 plus the rate of interest raised to the number of time periods. And you see when we plug in, let's say for example, that we have a $100 future value and we're going to use 9% interest as our discount rate, and that $100 is not going to occur until 5 years from now. We can plug those variables in, and when we solve for present value, it tells us that $64.99 is the equivalent amount of money today to waiting for 5 years to get the $100 given a 9% discount rate. Our financial calculator can shorten this process for us. What we would do is enter the variables that we know, such as future value, interest rate, and number of time periods, and simply solve for present value. If we're going to do this in a spreadsheet, we will use something called the PV function, or present value function, and we're going to tell it what the interest rate, number of time periods, and future value are. Let's go ahead and give that a try. So here we have a spreadsheet that's formatted that shows us future value, amount, interest rate, and number of time periods. And I'm going to solve for present value by using a function called PV. If it doesn't show, type in PV and run a search for it. So it wants to know where the rate of interest is. It's here. Number of time periods is located here. Payment we will ignore for now. Future value is located here. I want my answer to show up as a positive number, so I'm going to put a negative sign in this cell before telling it where the future value is. And now when I tell it where the future value is, you'll see that the answer that I'm going to receive is a positive number in this case. And so that's how you would calculate future value using a spreadsheet. One of the powerful things about a spreadsheet, of course, is we can change the variables here. So we could come up here and it will automatically give us a new answer. We could say a future value of $250, and let's say that that's going to occur 5 years from now, has a present value of $155.23. So why don't you take a turn, use whatever technology you're going to use, whether it's algebra, a calculator, or a spreadsheet, and work through this example here. The answer is at the bottom of the screen, and what you should be solving for is a present value of $7,000 that you're not going to get until 6 years from now, and you're going to bring it backwards in time at 11%. Here is another example. Go ahead and work through this one. We say the future value is $1 million. 30 years from now, at 10% interest, how much is that worth today? And so you'll solve for present value, and you'll just go ahead and put those variables into whatever algebraic expression or technology you're using to help yourself solve this.